It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. Merry Christmas to ya. Merry Christmas to ya. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to ya. Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show. This is episode 12. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Thursday. Can you believe that? It's a Thursday podcast. Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. 3 days before the jolly man comes sliding down the chimneys. He's not going to be sliding like 21 Savage, because that would be bad for your children's health. He's going to be sliding down the chimney and bringing everybody gifts, and hopefully he brings tons of gifts to you out there. Hope you're getting gifted up. Hopefully you're getting some stacks of cash put in your palm. Hopefully you're getting some diamonds. Hopefully getting some video games. Hopefully getting a new car, a new house, a new Learjet, whatever you want out there. Hope you're getting it. So Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. I saw Chris DiStefano talking about Kwanzaa on his podcast today, so that was very funny. So happy Kwanzaa and welcome to the show. We're going to start off by I'm going to tell you some things to do. And I want you to follow the Dep Lewis Show everywhere. I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback you have to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. And I appreciate all of your support. Full episodes of the Dep Lewis Show are on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and there's more on my Buzzsprout page. So check out the Buzzsprout page. That's a good hub for the Dep Lewis Show podcast. So you can find the best place for yourself to listen to it out there. You may be thinking, I don't like listening to this on Apple. I want to listen on Spotify. Or hey, maybe today I want to listen on YouTube. Hey, you have the option out there. So that is what this show is here for. It's all about giving you options and giving you a great show. So that's what I'm here to do for you today. There are clips of this show on YouTube and TikTok. And let's think, this is episode 12. I hope I said that. We're getting started off. This is another nighttime episode. So last episode was a nighttime episode. So these last two episodes, if this episode was driving and you got pulled over, you could possibly get a ticket. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But it's been great. It's been fun recording them at night. I'm recording this one early because I have a lot going on this weekend, with it being Christmas on Sunday and Christmas Eve Saturday. So it should be a pretty good weekend. So I'm gonna join you here on Thursday and give you my video game thoughts. So let's get right into it. Let's see here. The notes from last show. Last show at one point I said Call of Duty instead of God of War when I was talking about Mimir. So I was making a Mimir correction and I made an error where I said COD instead of God of War. I said Call of Duty. So you obviously knew what I was talking about, but I just wanted to clarify that sounded kind of crazy. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up from last show that I really want to remember is I picked Sour for the next Splatfest in Splatoon. So I'm basically just saying this so I can remember this myself again, just to bring it up in my mind, that I'm Team Sour in the Splatfest. I believe it starts early January, so you'll catch me on the Splatoon 3 playing the hell out of that Splatfest, and I can't wait for that. And then, let's see if I had any other notes from last show that I can think of. Oh yeah, the other thing, I think I mentioned I wanted to check into the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on Xbox and see if it was on sale. And it actually was on sale. I still don't know where I'm going to play that game at, so I don't know. But I did notice that game was on sale, so that's pretty cool and pretty funny that I was like talking about it. I think it's on sale for like $14.99, and I think there's like 9 Street Fighter games in there or something crazy. So that's a pretty good value if you're looking for some Street Fighter. I can imagine it's on sale on other platforms as well, being that I saw it on Xbox. So that was one other note from last show that I wanted to bring up. So we're going to get right into it today in the video game section. The video game section of what I've been playing, what I've been into. Next week is Game of the Year, so this is a very important week, or last week was very important for my video game knowledge, and next week will be even more important because this is the last week that I can fill my brain with the video games from 2022 and make a decision on what the best games of 2022 are. So please join me next episode as well. You know, not only do you need to listen to the rest of this episode, you need to listen to next week and beyond, but next week is going to be the Dep Lewis official Game of the Year 2022 episode. It's going to be week 13 with the Dep Lewis Show. Lucky number 13. My favorite baseball player is number 13, so there you go. That's how you know it's going to be a great show and it's going to be the game of the year. So please come back next week, especially to listen to the best top 10 video game list in the entire universe. Not just the video game industry, the universe. You heard it here. So you better believe it. Alright, so let's get into the video game section this week of what I've been playing. The first one's going to be a surprise. This has not been talked about yet on the Dep Lewis Show, I don't believe. And that game is Hearthstone, the game created by Blizzard. And the game that's been around for a long time. Some people probably have, well, obviously they have children older than Hearthstone, but some people probably have, I don't know. But Hearthstone's old, and it's been around for a while. And I've gone through a few cycles of it, and I've played the hell out of it for a long time. And I just signed back into it, and the most exciting thing about that was when I signed back in, Hearthstone decided they want to welcome me, and they gave me 150 free packs off top as a welcome back gift, which I can't believe because last time I signed into Hearthstone, which probably months ago, or it could have been a year ago or years, I signed in with the intention of like nerfing a lot of cards and creating a deck, and I really wasn't able to. There's a lot of uncraftable cards in the game now. The way they switch things up, there's certain cards that you cannot actually uncraft anymore, which kind of makes a little bit of a difference, but I don't know. When I came in, I got this 150 free packs. I also got some other free packs for like a holiday thing. You know, it might have been like 10 more free packs or 8 or something like that. And I was able to create 2 net decks, Aggro Druid and a Death Rider Rogue, you know, based on this 150 packs. And then, you know, I was able to disenchant some cards and get some dust. So I was pretty excited about that. It took like, I don't know, it took a little while to open all those packs, which was kind of fun. It's funny to think like I would have paid, or I have paid great money for packs back in the day, and then I just sign on and get 150 for free. So it felt like I was like the richest Hearthstone player ever opening all those packs. It was kind of cool. And I got a good bit of legendaries. I was trying to remember how often the legendary drop count was, and I never looked it up, but I think it's somewhere around like 20 packs, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, and if, you know, what I was noticing was sort of correct. But I got a lot of stuff, and I didn't really feel like I had to part with too many things that I was really sad to get rid of. So shout out to Hearthstone for being really cool. I have this downloaded on my computer now, on my phone. I have decks ready to go. I've played a few times. I gotta say I played the Rogue a few times and got my ass kicked. I'm not understanding or knowing what some of the mechanics are yet, and I guess that's to be expected. My good friend of the show, Volnus, the great musician for the Dep Lewis Show, has recommended that he said the Death Rattle Rogue is confusing, and he's playing a lot of Hearthstone, so I need to watch some videos on Twitch or just watch a guide. I used to read the Icy Veins guides back in the day on how to play the decks, and it would kind of tell you what cards to look for in the early hands, and that's kind of what I need to do with this deck. I need to look at, you know, the kind of progression of cards I need to hold, and then I need to look at what some of these damn mechanics do, because that's very important too, and I'm never going to be able to win if I don't understand what the mechanics are. But Hearthstone's seeming pretty cool. This is something I want to check in with and start playing a little more. Man, I need to do so. I think I need to hit a little bit of learning before I start really tackling the ladder, but it's I only need to know a few simple things before I can really get rolling with that deck. So I just need to dedicate a little time to doing that, and I'll be rolling on the ladder. But you should go sign in to Hearthstone if you haven't signed in a long time, especially. Volnus didn't get any free packs, but he's been playing Hearthstone continuously for forever. I think he's taken a few small breaks, but apparently it wasn't enough to warrant some free packs for him, or he might have gotten the free packs in some smaller amount or whatever, and he just didn't notice. But Volnus is not hurting for Hearthstone cards or options to play, so do not feel sorry for him out there on the internet unless you want to send him just some free packs, because that's pretty nice. But catch me out there on the Hearthstone. Let's see. Yeah, I built an aggro druid deck. I built a Death Rattle Rogue. I nerfed my mage pretty much since I already have a gold mage, and I haven't really wanted to play mage since the I guess it was the Flame Walkers or the Flame Wakers back in the day. That was my very favorite, one of my favorite decks when I first started playing. But I just nerfed my mage. I haven't really played it in a long time, and I think I need a ton of cards to be able to play anything current mage deck. So I figured that was okay. I got rid of Shaman. I've never really been into Shaman, and I got rid of Warrior. I'd never been into Warrior except for just a little bit. So
I had to make some cuts there to get some new net decks, and I think I have a little bit of dust to still spend, and I probably have a few cards I can still nerf. But I think I'm in a good spot with what I have since a new season or whatever they're called in Hearthstone just flipped over. So my net deck should be pretty current for a while. And I have 2 different styles, or 2 different decks, 2 different classes. So it should allow me to do some pretty good things out there on the Hearthstone ladder. So pretty cool. I brought this pack thing up to a few friends, and they were able to get some packs. So it was pretty neat that works. And got some other people playing Hearthstone again. So shout out to me too. Shout out to me, Hearthstone. I'm helping get the word out there. I think you should send Volunus some packs, but that's my only gripe with you right now. All right. Oh yeah, I also have I unlocked the Death Knight, so I played the prologues. That's one thing I did. You had to beat like 4 challenges. They were very easy actually, but they were pretty fun to play. And they had a little story. The heroes were talking to each other some, so that was kind of funny. But the Death Knight seems pretty cool, and I have one of his precon decks that I can play, I guess, on the ladder, so I might try that out some too, just so I can start learning the Death Knight and see what's up with him. And so Hearthstone, surprise of the week that I'm playing that. I actually have a few kind of video game surprises this week for what I'm playing, so that's pretty cool. The next game is something that I started recently. It came out earlier in the year, so I've been playing this so I can give it some very harsh judgment for 2022 of the quality of this game in 2022. It's getting judged by me, and that game is Neon White. I've been getting a little more into this. I beat the first, the first challenge area or the first world or whatever. There's like a set of levels. It might be 6 or 7, and I completed them all. And it's been, piling mechanics and things to learn on, as you go through each level, and it makes the game a little more complicated, but the game is also progressively getting more fun. So this game is really cool. I like the speedrun aspect of it, of trying to get faster, because you can see, kind of exactly what you need to do. Or not really, not from the beginning. You learn the level, and then you can easily learn of ways you can improve, and you're not usually just making a perfectly clean run through the level. So once you can get to the point of making a perfectly clean run, you're really going to be shaving just, milliseconds off your time or whatever to try to improve on your high score, and I really like that about it. It has leaderboards in there, for your friends list, or I guess it has, worldwide leaderboards in there as well, so that's really cool. I heard someone talking on a podcast this week about how the story in this game is super forgettable and you should skip it. And I think I may agree with that. I wouldn't, from what I've seen, there's no reason to take the story or anything in this game seriously, but a little bit of it is just kind of funny or entertaining, but most of it is just kind of skip worthy. So I don't know. I would just say if the story or the cutscenes in this game are turning you off in any way, or dampening your experience, maybe just skip them and just go straight to the levels, because that's really where the fun of this game seems to be had. And once I get to I just got to the hub world, so it looks like that's where I'm able to go back and start replaying some things and move forward. And it looks like there's a few other sections of different types of modes, so I just need to explore and see what's kind of in there. But once I got past that first world, I thought that was a good spot to stop that night when I was playing. So Neon White's seeming really cool. I think it could be sniffing my top 10 list. I really do have a few spots towards the end where they could be interchangeable, so Neon White could be sneaking up there, so I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Let's see. And also, something I haven't been taking advantage of in this game, I haven't really been listening to the sound with it. I've just been, listening to a podcast of music, but I've heard the music in this game is great. And I heard someone saying that this was their most played album on, Spotify or Apple Music for the year was the soundtrack to Neon White. So, that's pretty cool, and I really like listening to video game soundtracks, so it's something I need to either put the damn sound on the game, or just actually listen to the soundtrack when I want to. But just another cool thing about this game, I believe this game runs, I don't think it's any more than $24.99. It might be $19.99, so it's pretty inexpensive especially for a good game. So definitely just wanted to bring that to your attention out there, loyal listeners. The Neon White, you might want to check it out. It's exclusive to Switch right now, and it's on PC, I guess. I don't think it's on Mac PC or Mac, or on the Mac side of the computer world. It's just on the Windows. but it runs pretty good on the Switch. Obviously, the PC players or the PC version looks a little smoother and better, but I don't see any problems with it running on the Switch. And you get the handheld, so I'd say it's a pretty moot point there for the versions. If there was an Xbox or PlayStation 5 version, I would maybe be inclined to get that, but I don't really see it being a big deal. So I would easily recommend it on the Nintendo Switch. That game is Neon White. All right, let me have a sip of something here, since I said this show could possibly be getting a ticket if we were on the road right now, but we are not. We are in this multi-million-dollar studio. I just want to say, for the sound quality today, I'm sitting in a hard kitchen chair. I've turned the heat off. I have a hoodie on to help the sound quality. My next level of great sound quality will be, I'll sit a certain distance from the microphone so I don't keep moving up and into the microphone and back. And then what's my other sound thing? Oh yeah, I've tied the filter to the microphone with a shoelace. That was my genius move of the day. I used to have a rubber band. I only had one, and I've misplaced or lost it, or I don't know what happened to my rubber band. I used to keep it right in the drawer here. This is some really, really, really deep Dep Lewis Show insight here. The multi-million-dollar studio has one rubber band, and we lost it. So we've got a rubber band thief on the loose, or it's just been misplaced. It could be one of those two things, so I don't know. But we have now tied the filter to the microphone with a shoelace, and I gotta say, it's working flawlessly. So if the sound of this episode is sounding good in your ears right now, you can thank a shoelace. So I bet that's not something you ever thought about. So pretty cool, pretty great show here today on the Dep Lewis Show, episode 12. All right, let's keep going down these video games here. All right, so we've talked about Hearthstone and Neon White. The next game I just want to bring up, this will be a quick hit, but it's called Destropolis. This was a great game recommended to me by Volnus. Recommended Destropolis, and I tried it once, or I had maybe 2 sessions with this so far. I really like the weapons and the abilities in this game. I like how it's pretty simple. You're just kind of aiming. Having to shoot was throwing me off a little bit after playing Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors, you're just kind of moving your character around the screen, so in this one you actually have to shoot your weapon. But it has a whole multitude of weapons, and some of them are automatic, and you get bazookas and all sorts of crazy shit, and it really kind of starts going ham on the screen there. So this game has been pretty fun, and it's very, very, very inexpensive. I think I got this game for 7 cents after, I think it's $1.99 or something like that. So if you're looking for a Vampire Survivor-like game, something that's real quick and easy to play, this seems like a cool one. I need to play some more of this at some point, and I have plans to be using my Switch more in the future, so this will be a game getting thrown into that rotation. But I'm still very heavy on the Vampire Survivor train, so it's a little hard to slide off that. I've actually, we'll talk about Vampire Survivors in a little bit, but Destropolis is really cool. I don't know if it's still on sale out there right now, but if you'd like to go check it out, and if it's on sale, that's even better. So I would say go pick that thing up. It just takes a little getting used to after the if you've been heavy on the Vampire Survivor train, but it's not too complicated to get into, but just besides learning the new weapons and things like that in that game. So go check it out. All right, let's see here. Sorry for the silence, so listen to me sip something. All right, the next game on the list here for today this is another surprise too. This is something that came out earlier in the year, so this is a 2022 game. This is a game that could be making some moves onto my list. This could be a really late entry onto the Dep Lewis Show 2022 Game of the Year list, so we will see. And that game is Horizon Forbidden West. This is a game, I think this game was a blessing in disguise. It's something that I was blessed with, and I didn't take the blessing. And now I'm finally taking the blessing, and I'm understanding how good it is. I got this game when I bought my PS5. I just bought a regular discless version, so the digital PS5. And when I got the PS5 delivered to my house, it was the Horizon Zero Dawn bundle. So it was the discless version, but it had a download code for Horizon. I said Zero Dawn. It was Horizon Forbidden West, the brand new game. So I was like, over the freaking moon. I got a $70 video game that I was thinking about purchasing for free. So I played some when I first got it, just trying it out, but it wasn't the main thing I was thinking about at that point. So it kind of fell to the wayside. But I have been back into this game recently. I've had multiple sessions so far with this. I think I'm about 6 hours into it. I just kind of picked up on my file from before, so I think I've put about 3 hours into it since then, and I really just been just kind of taking it slow in this game. It's been really relaxing to play, and the graphics look amazing. I've kept hearing people talk about this game and Game of the Year stuff, talking about how good it looks and how there's some like revolutionary stuff they're doing with the water tech. And so it really did make me just want to jump back into this game, and it looks amazing. And I haven't been playing many games recently that are relaxing where it's just an open world. You know, I've been a little bit back into Elden Ring, but Elden Ring is brutal every second of that game. So I don't know if I've played enough Elden Ring for myself to be relaxed in that game. But Horizon Forbidden West, you know, it's kind of like a Witcher or a Skyrim a little bit, where it's an open world with side quests, and you know, it has the main quest, and you can just walk around and pick up herbs, and you can hunt and, you know, do all the things of an open world. And this world looks amazing. I think it's got to be one of the best looking video games ever. I mean, I think that's really true. I've heard some people complain there's too much color in this game, but I don't know. I've been thinking it looks really cool, and that's kind of been the main thing that's helping me play it recently. It's been relaxing, and I've been just liking the way the game looks, and it's fun fighting the machines. I really like using the bow, and when I've been sitting down to play games, I've been kind of wanting to play this. I think I played it on my lunch break one day, so it's been cool. I've had this game for a while, I guess since June, since I got my PS5, and it's cool that it's just been so exciting to play recently. So I think it could be jumping onto my list, especially taking place with some other stuff I've played recently that hasn't really clicked for me yet. So we will see. So Horizon Forbidden West has been really fun to play. I'm trying to think if I've seen it on sale recently. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. But Horizon Forbidden West, there's also Horizon Zero Dawn is the first game in this series. It's definitely $20 for the complete edition of that game, all the time. I do see that game on sale for $9.99 for, pretty often. I thought about buying it at some point. I played a little bit of it. I thought about buying it at some point to play before this one, but I'm just really enjoying having the PS5 and seeing the I guess the best stuff that it can offer so far. So it's been fun to be moving forward with this stuff and checking it out and seeing all the cool stuff that's out there, even if I haven't played a ton of it yet. But let's see here. Yeah, I wrote down I like the way this game looks and just walking around it. The climbing is fun. I love the bow. I like the little bit of story in this game. I think that part makes it relaxing, and there's some kind of story, but you can kind of seek it out as you like. I like the freedom of the side missions and the exploring, and yeah, this game may be a sleeper for me. Just depending, I only have a week here left to decide on my Game of the Year list, but if this is a really fast and heavy week for me for the Horizon Forbidden West, you can see it moving up my list to a pretty good spot. I shouldn't have the most time, in this next week for playing games, but I definitely have some time off work, so I should be able to have some video game time, a little bit of it, so we'll see. I just kind of have a lot of other stuff going on right now at this point, but this game has been really great. I think I'm hitting it at a good time where the other mix of games I'm playing are a little bit challenging or not as story focused, so I think this is hitting both of those threads pretty nicely, and I've really been enjoying it, so it's really cool. Alright, another game that's surprising. I have a lot of surprises. You can call me, I don't know what you can call me. You can call me Mr. Surprise, the Dep Lewis Show full of surprises. Another game that's really sticking with me and I've been playing a lot and really liking, and I think has to have a place on my Game of the Year list now, is FIFA 2023. My team is the Tottenham Spurs. My guy is Kane, Son, and Loris. Loris is the keeper for them, and it's pretty cool that Loris was, you can correct me on this if you'd like to email DepLewisShow@gmail.com. If you can correct me before I can hit Google later or whatever. But I haven't, Loris, I think he played for France. I think he was the keeper for France in the World Cup. So I've definitely watched a lot of him playing, and it's been cool to see him in the game. So I was able to recognize a player that I've seen, on watching real soccer, and then I've been able to be like, oh yeah, I know him in the game. So that's pretty cool. It makes me feel like I know a little bit about soccer. The next guy I want to learn some stuff about is this guy named Son. He wears number 7, and he is my main guy, my main goal scorer left, because I keep having people get injured. I had Harry Kane get injured, who was my main guy that I wanted to play the damn Spurs for, and he's out for 6 months, and then his backup comes in and he gets an injury for 6 months. And I was really rolling with his backup too, so it was crazy. I got a few games with Kane, and then I got a few games with his backup, and then they were both gone for 6 months. And Son, he's been the bright and shining sun. He's been the one up there in the sky, scoring all the goals and winning the games for me. And I still haven't lost yet. I've tied one game, and I still haven't raised the difficulty up, but I probably need to, since I think I won 9 in a row or something like that. But I did tie once. I mean, what happened there? I'm not that good if I'm tying. So we'll see. It's been really fun to play. Another great game that's relaxing. It's funny that I'm pointing out some relaxing games now in a very busy time of the year, so I guess that makes sense. We'll probably start seeing some trends like that as we go through this Dep Lewis show, and it'll just make a little bit of sense if we think about it. So FIFA, that's been 20 years ago. I guess was it called FIFA 3? No, I'm being really stupid. It would have been called like FIFA 2003. But I guess a good question is, when was the last FIFA? So if I'm listening to this, reviewing my performance, then maybe I should bring that up as a note for next show to talk about some FIFA history, since FIFA is this is the last year where it's going to be called FIFA. It could be interesting for me to look up some old FIFA knowledge and also some future FIFA knowledge to see where this series that I'm now really into, or sort of into, will be going in the future. Because my dumb ass could be looking for FIFA next year. I'm like, hey, I want to buy the new FIFA. Let me go to the store and look for FIFA, and I'm sitting there typing it in and nothing's coming up. But now there's a game called, Football Across the World 2024 or whatever. And I'm like, shit, nobody's buying Football Across the World unless they're an idiot. But you know who'll be the idiot in that situation? Me. But FIFA 23 has been really fun. The Spurs are my team so far, even though my guys keep getting hurt. I played Liverpool, and I feel like they're very, very dominant. There's a guy named Salah, Salah, and he seems very overpowered. I score a lot of goals with him, and I think he's one of the higher-rated players in the game, so it would be cool to know some more about him in real life at some point to see what his deal is, because he seems good. And I got kind of mad that my players were getting injured, so I thought about playing some more teams, but I've already started 4 or 5 seasons with different teams, and the Spurs are the main one I'm playing. And then when I got mad, I decided to, hey, I'm going to start a new team, but I really kind of used up the little bit of soccer knowledge I have right now, things that are cool to find teams to play. So I'll just need to focus on the teams I have, even if I just continue to, maybe I'll start playing with Liverpool and raise the difficulty and seeing how decent I can get against the AI in this game. But FIFA's been great. It's back on sale, I've seen recently, for half off. So if you're looking to buy FIFA, you should go buy it. And it also had me thinking if I should look into Mario Strikers on the Switch at some point. I had a chance to get that game for free recently, but I chose something else. Just thinking that I'm liking FIFA, so why try to mess with that? But I'm just on the soccer hype train right now, or the football hype train. I saw that commercial with I guess it was Beckham and Peyton Manning about football versus soccer, and that was kind of corny, even though I like both those guys and I'm a big Peyton fan, but who cares? Whatever. But soccer's been awesome. Football's been awesome. And you should go play that. Alright. That's been the majority of the games I've been playing this week that have been taking up my time. There's a few other things I played, like being for real, I've just played a little bit of. So I played some Splatoon 3. Let's think if I've done anything new there. I've only played really just a handful of matches. Splatoon 3 was my most played game for my Nintendo recap. I have like 2 overlapping profiles for this year, so it was the most played game on my old profile, and it has to be the most played game on my new profile because that's the main game I played on there. So shout out to Splatoon 3. I got the upcoming Splatfest coming soon, so that's where I'll be playing a good bit of it in the near future. Pokemon Legends Arceus and The Legend of Zelda were my 2 other top played games on my old Nintendo profile, which I think I'm going to go back to full time so I can keep all my stats in one place. I think that'll be a smarter move. And it said that I've been playing games. It says for 3 years, which makes it hard to describe. It said you've been playing these games for 3 years, but it just means you've checked in with these games for a little bit over the last 3 years. So you played it in some time, in the last 3 years for each year. And those games for me were Zelda, Pokemon Arceus, and Hades. So we have Hades 2 coming out this next year, so we'll probably see a switch there. where I'm no longer playing the old Hades. But I thought that was cool to see they had that kind of stat on there that, not that I've beaten Breath of the Wild, but I played it for some instance in the last 3 years for each year. And then Pokemon Sword, the same thing. That game's been out for a little while. That's another one I've checked back into and kind of had multiple saves and been trying out. And then Hades, I have that on multiple platforms, and I've definitely gone through a few different eras of playing Hades on the Switch, and it's really cool. So I love getting those Nintendo stats, and I'm really happy Splatoon 3 was my top game, because I love that game. 2022 Game of the Year for the Dep Lewis Show. Spoiler alert, but no spoiler needed. And that game's got to be sniffing my favorite games of all time. So it's got to be sniffing the list. It's at least in the top 20. But the top 10's a list of heavy hitters. I've kind of done it before, like a shadow list. Not a really official one, but I have a pretty good list going of those. So we'll get into those someday during a major dry spell on this Dep Lewis Show podcast, if there is such a thing. But we'll see. So Splatoon 3, go check it out. Go be a Splat guy or a Splat lady or whatever you'd like to be, an Octoling or an Inkling. And then, alright, let's see. Another game I've been playing is some Vampire Survivors. I've only played a little bit of this. I'm still enjoying the Legacy of the Moon spell. I've been exclusively playing the new level. I really like that it's a snow level during the holiday season. I feel like that's perfect. I don't really appreciate that there's no health on this level that I can find, so I guess it's a frozen barren wasteland and there's just no health to be found. So it's a regenerating health per level kind of thing, or if you can find some, the regenerating health's your only option. And I need all the health I can get, so it's been rough out there. I had another thing that I pointed out. I was thinking about this level, but I can't remember it right now. Snow level, no health. Oh yeah, and I felt I found the top part of this map, which was interesting because it seemed like a giant level like the Mad Forest, but it actually has like a top area that turns into like a mountain, like a snowy mountain, and has like a little pathway, and that's where I got. I was on the pathway up there, and I got all the guys started closing in on me. I'm on this narrow little path, and guess what? Antonio Belpese got murked. He got murked in the damn cold snow. But it's been very fun. I tried this on mobile. It's actually free on mobile, so if you have any inkling or itch to play Vampire Survivors, and I highly recommend it. If you don't, I guess because you have to play on Xbox. There's no Switch version. If you want a way to play it, you can play on your phone. It's a free version. You just have to use your finger to move your character on the screen, which I don't like. I didn't find it to be very effective either, so I just tried it once, so I guess there would be an element of getting used to it, but it just didn't really feel great moving them from the get-go, so I don't know. I'm not a mobile gamer really either. Like, I barely like playing Hearthstone on my phone, and I definitely know I don't play any other games on my phone at all, so I don't know. It just might not be for me. I'm just thinking through it now. If someone has like a backbone out there, but none of you have a backbone because all you guys are spineless. No, I mean the backbone, like the peripheral that you can buy for your phone that turns like into a controller. That would maybe be something kind of cool for Vampire Survivors, but ultimately I just want this game on Switch. Buying the backbone or whatever, or finding some controller enhancement for your phone is just going to be trying to compensate for not having a Switch version or not having a Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck is the way to go probably for this especially. But all Ponzo got to do is release a Switch version, and he can charge more than $1.99. I don't even know who'd be mad about that. Charge $4.99. Sounds like a great price. $4.99. So think about it, Pongo. Get that version out soon. Charge $4.99 for it, and put the Dep Lewis Show stamp on it, and that thing will be selling like hotcakes. That's all I gotta say. So. Vampire Survivors is a really great game. Go check it out. It's on Xbox. It's on Xbox Game Pass. It's $1.99. There is the DLC for it that I believe is $1.99 as well. And then that is also available on Steam. You can play it on Mac Steam too. So Mac and Windows Steam. There's no Switch version of this game yet, and there actually is a mobile version. I've only tested tried the mobile version on iOS. I don't know if it's available on Android, but I would assume it is, but you can't always assume things. but the mobile version is free, so that's a cool thing about it. And I mean, it was Antonio Belpezzi on there, so I don't think you can go wrong with it. And it's hard to complain about free 99. So you heard it here. Dep Lewis Show says go play Vampire Survivors. All right, something else I've been playing just a little bit of was something I got back into last week. I don't have a lot. Oh man, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Last week I got back into this game, and this game has been taken over a little bit by Horizon Forbidden West for me this week, but I did play some more Elden Ring. I was just playing it, just kind of more exploring around there. I've been really enjoying all the Elden Ring talk and the Game of the Year content out there, and it's just another excuse to talk about Elden Ring for a second. So I just wanted to bring it up again that Elden Ring is a great game. It is on sale right now again on the Xbox. And I believe it's on sale on the PS5 too. So if you want to get in on some Elden Ring, it's a great time to do so. And, buy someone you love a copy for Christmas. So it's a cool game. All right. And the last game that I've been keeping in my rotation is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I really don't think I've played any games of this week. So I just wanted to kind of keep that as a placeholder. That's something that's still in my mind. Still a game that I'm into and thinking about. But it's the holiday season out here. So people are busy. I'm busy. I play a lot of games, as you can see, and you can't just play them all the time. Even though, playing some more games would be cool. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is actually, that's on sale right now too. We're going to talk about that in the next section. I keep bringing up these sales, and we're really going to get into it in the next section because there's some good stuff going on out there in the world. So that's a teaser for coming back for the mid-section of the Dep Lewis Show, which you should do in just a little bit. So let's recap what I've been playing here. I've been playing some Hearthstone. I got back. If you haven't played Hearthstone in a while, go sign in. You need to sign in. I didn't bring this up in the first section, so thank God I'm telling you now. You need to sign in on the Battle.net launcher, like on the computer. You can't do it from your phone. You can't do it from mobile. So either sign in to, on your computer, or get a friend to sign in on the computer for you, and just go collect the packs. It's up on the notification. It's a exclamation point at the top of the Battle.net launcher. And it'll say, hey, here's your, welcome back packs that it gives you. Then it'll tell you the certain denomination on there. So don't forget to do that, especially if you haven't played Hearthstone in a while. This might be a good means to get back into the game and give you a little scratch to play with. So pretty cool. I played some Neon White, testing that out for Game of the Year. I started playing some Destropolis. I had a few sittings with that, or a few sessions with that. I'm really into Horizon Forbidden West this week. I've been playing that probably the most. Up there as well as FIFA 2023. I've been playing my season with the Spurs, even though everyone's been getting hurt. I played a few matches of Splatoon 3, my favorite game of the year, and maybe one of my favorite games ever. Vampire Survivors. I'm still playing some of the DLC, The Legacy of Moonspell. I think it's still my favorite level in the game, and I think it's still holding up there. So the newest level that's been added is my favorite, so that's pretty cool. I was playing a little bit of Elden Ring early in the week before Horizon Forbidden West hit, so go check out the Elden Ring. You can recommend that game to anyone at any point of any time of the day. Probably for a long time in that game too. It's probably got some years of leg to it where it's going to be impressive and fun to play. And they're probably going to be remastering Elden Ring in 6 years. Whenever the next console comes out, they're going to have a Elden Ring on the PS6, and it's going to be selling like a motherfucker. So you heard that here on the least hard prediction that you've ever heard, because that's probably pretty guaranteed. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just throwing it out there. That game's really cool, and it's been on sale recently, so go check that out if you'd like to. All right, so we're going to take the first break here of the Dep Lewis Show in the episode 12. Thank you for listening to the first section here. We're going to come back for section 2, the mid-section, the middle section, where we talk about what I've been seeing across the video game industry. We're going to talk about some sales that are going on. We're going to talk about my release calendar that I've created. So I'm going to give you some insight onto the games that I'm tracking for next year. I'm going to talk about some Game of the Year content out there in the world and highlight one of my new favorite podcasts one of my new, I don't know why I'm fumbling on this, but it's a podcast that's been out for a while that I have just become a fan of, and I really like it, so I want to highlight that. And so that's what we're going to do in the midsection. So go take a break, go deck the halls, or jingle some bells, or frost a snowman, or come all you faithful, or just whatever you want to do. You don't have to do any of those, but if you'd like to, you can. And the main thing you should do is come back and listen to the show in just a minute. So we'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back to the Dep Lewis Show. This is the midsection of episode 12, and thank you for returning to listen to me on this podcast. We are here to talk about a few different things that I've been seeing across the video game world that have been interesting to me, and a few of my plans for the future for my video gaming. So I'm bringing that to you here today. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I think is interesting this week is there is a PlayStation holiday sale going on. So for any of you PlayStation gamers out there, there is a sale up to 75% off. It's the biggest promotion of the year for PlayStation, with discounts across multiple games and DLC. So just to go ahead and say, I think there is an Xbox sale going on as well, and there's probably some Switch stuff going on. But this PlayStation one specifically kicked off this week. It kicked off Wednesday, December 21st, and it goes until, I found some kind of conflicting information on when it goes until. It looks like all the sales that are currently going on right now will last until January 6, 2023. But it looks like some of these deals leave then as well. But some of the sale will continue through the 18th of January. So I don't know if after the 6th some of the sales change. I don't know if some of the sales just leave, but this looks like a pretty big sale going on. There's things on sale like Call of Duty, FIFA, Elden Ring. There it is, Horizon Forbidden West. I was wondering that in the first section. And The Last of Us Part 1. So, there's some first-party Sony stuff on there. There's some giant third-party stuff on there. And Elden Ring, the game of the year across most of the industry, is on there on sale. So, pretty perfect. And if people want to hate on your video game or PlayStation overlords or whoever they may be, you got to give them some love here, because they're putting the games that are the best out there on sale. So a great time to pick up some games for a decreased dollar amount and go check it out. If you're a PlayStation 4 gamer or a PS5 gamer, there should be something on sale out there that you'd like. So I just wanted to highlight that. I don't think I'm going to be picking up anything. I've halfway thought about picking up FIFA on PlayStation as well, but that seems a little bit overkill. But it's half off, and I'm really liking the FIFA, so it's just something that's crossed my brain. Especially being half off, it's makes it a little bit easier to think about. But I could probably spend that money on some other games that would be cool and something new to try. So that's probably what I'll do. But PlayStation holiday sale going on. Definitely some other sales going on out there. So go check out those digital stores and check out Amazon and put stuff on a wish list and check it out. There's some good stuff going on out there. All sorts of price ranges of games up, from $1.99 to $70 right now that you can get, and then they're great experiences. So pretty cool. Like I said before, it's a great time to be a video gamer. All right, so it is a great time to be a video gamer. We've almost come upon another year of video games, where we're going to rank those and talk about those, and after that we're going to throw them out with the bathwater, and we're going to have a whole new year of video games. So with that comes the preparation and the planning and the not the foresight, because I'm just looking shit up, but I've created a list of games that I'm tracking for next year that I want to play, that I'm interested in, that I'd like to talk about a little bit on this podcast. Some of these I'll buy, some of these I'll maybe buy later on. Some of these I'll just talk about, and some of these might get delayed. You never know. The world's pretty crazy out there, but most of these I have on the list today seem like pretty firm releases. Some of these games have already been delayed, so further delay would be very unexpected. And the farthest game that I have a date on this list so far is early June. So there is a whole second half of the year that's being unaccounted for that really hasn't been scheduled out yet. So I thought this was a pretty good time to bring this list to you, especially since next week I'll be giving you my favorite games of the year for 2022. This will be a little preparation for what 2023 is going to look like. So there could be a chance one of these games on this list will be my favorite game of the year for next year, and it's probably pretty likely. And some of these games will definitely be on my list, I would say, because we got some pretty heavy hitters. So Let's see here. We're just going to kind of quickly go through these, since there is a good handful of these on here, a good number of them. And I'm going to go down and tell you about them. So, alright, so the first game of the year is Fire Emblem Engage. Comes out January 20th. It's going to be $60 on the Nintendo Switch. This will be a day one purchase for me. And, I'm not going to say too much else about these games. We're going to quickly go through these, so it'll give you a good snapshot of what's coming out next year. Alright, Forspoken is the next game that comes out on January 24th, 2023. It's going to be $69.99. It's on PlayStation 5. And this one is made is a Square Enix joint. So it's in it's like a Final Fantasy game sort of thing, but it's a lady who lives in modern day New York. She gets transported to a fantasy world, and that's where the fun begins. She's supposed to have some pretty good mobility as a character, and then it has the sort of Final Fantasy style trappings of a game. So it looks pretty cool, and there's actually a demo out there, but it's just not something I can necessarily see myself playing or jumping on it day one, especially with Fire Emblem Engage coming out. So that game is called Forspoken, and it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive as far as I know. Alright, the next one is Dead Space Remake. That comes out January 27, 2023. It's going to be $69.99 on the Xbox. That's a multi-platform game. I'll be probably looking to buy it on the Xbox Series X, and I think this could be a day one purchase for me. The only negative that I can see right now is it comes out a little bit just shortly after Fire Emblem Engage, which is a definite buy for me. But Dead Space Remake is something I really want to try. Last week I was talking about how I might be more into survivor horror than I think I am, and I definitely still can't pronounce that correctly, but I'm going to get better at that. Survival horror. I don't know why that's funny, hard to say, but it's hard to say. But I think I like it, so that's the cool part about it. So Dead Space Remake, January 27th, and then the next game on this list is Hogwarts Legacy. So for all you Harry Potter fans out there, all your Ron Weasley and your Hermione Granger fans out there, February 10th, 2023, that game is going to be $69.99. It's going to be multi-platform, and this is one I'll think about. I don't see myself purchasing this one day one. This will be a wait and see for me, but if this game is reviewing well and getting some good impressions out there, I could see myself picking this up, because I do like some Harry Potter, and I would like to play some virtual Harry Potter, but I just don't trust it. I don't trust it to be good, because I don't think we've ever seen it done before, and it's a giant IP with, a huge fanfare, young and old, so, it seems like this couldn't be the most unique of experiences out there, but you never know. So Hogwarts Legacy is coming February 10th, 2023. Alright, next on this list is Like a Dragon, Ishin, I-S-H-I-N, I guess, Ishin. Comes February 21st, 2023 for $59.99 on the Xbox. Actually, that game's multi-platform. I just kind of wrote down here what system I was looking to buy it on. But I said this one's probably not for me. This is the next game in the Yakuza series, which the Yakuza series has been renamed to Like a Dragon, which is the last game in the series was Yakuza Like a Dragon, which came out in maybe 2019 or 2020, which I played a good bit of that game and it was very fun. So that's why I'm tracking this Like a Dragon Ishin game on this list. It could be something that I play in the future, probably not just on release, but it looks really cool, so I'm going to probably be talking about that on the Dep Lewis Show in some facet. Alright, the next game is Kirby's Return to Dreamland. That's coming to Nintendo Switch on February 24th, 2023. I believe this is a remake of an older Kirby game. I think Nintendo's not living off, because that makes it sound negative, but Nintendo is expanding all the hype and all the goodwill they received from this year of the great Kirby game of the Forgotten Land, and they're giving some people some old Kirby that's been touched up, so it's probably a smart business move for Nintendo. But I don't see myself purchasing this. I played a good bit of that Kirby game this year, and I think it has a spot on my Game of the Year list, so we will see. But I just don't know if I need another Kirby game quite this soon, but for really big Kirby fans, it's got to be pretty exciting. So that's coming February 24th, 2023. And then on that same day is Octopath Traveler 2. That's coming to Nintendo Switch. And that is a role-playing game that you can play. The first one I think was, it's Octopath, and this one is Octopath as well, where you can play 8 different paths in the game. So there's 8 different characters. They have 8 different stories. They have 8 different, I guess it's called vignettes possibly, but Full-fledged stories, I guess vignette means it's smaller, but I don't know. But Octopath Traveler looks really cool. The art style of this game's cool. The graphics are neat. Looks like a cool one to play on the Switch. I just said it was on Switch, but this game actually is multi-platform too, which is cool. But I think it was first released on the Switch exclusively, if I'm correct. But it would be nice to see on a giant screen with 4K and stuff too. But a lot of times people are wanting to play an RPG in handheld, be able to take it on the go with them. So Octopath Traveler is cool. Could be something I jump into. I don't have plans to immediately purchase it, but it's coming out February 24th, 2023. And that's actually the day the Dep Lewis Show is relocating. So that's going to be a great day in video game history and Dep Lewis Show history as well. So pretty cool. All right. Next game is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, another sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the previous successful game that came out, I think it was 2019 we talked about last week, but this new Star Wars game comes out on March 17th, 2023. Be a full price release, $69.99, multi-platform. I probably won't be buying this day one, but I could see myself buying this on Xbox at some point. All right, the Resident Evil 4 remake comes out March 24th, 2023. It looks like it's $59.99, so it hasn't succumbed to the price hike for next gen yet, and this will be a multi-platform game. This will be something that'll be kind of think about it. Just kind of depends on what I'm playing at that time, but it could be cool to jump back into Resident Evil 4 again, especially with a nice remake version. I played the old Resident Evil 4 back in the day a good bit, but it's been a long while, and it's one of the best Resident Evil games out there, so it could be cool to play it on a next gen version, so we will see. And then this has to be the biggest video game release of the year. I don't know what's going to top it. There's going to be some game in the second half that's going to sort of compete with it, but I doubt it's going to surpass it. And this game is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It comes to Nintendo Switch on May 12, 2023. Mark your calendars. Take your time off work. Get your money ready. Charge your Switch. Buy an extra dock. Get some extra Joy-Cons in case the Joy-Con drift hits you. They say this might be the fastest selling game of all time. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is still hitting sales figures, month over month. It's still in the conversation of, it's not the top game being sold, but it's still, it's not way far down the list. So it's pretty cool. There'll be a lot of people buying this game and very interested to buy it. And you can buy it too on May 12th, 2023. And this will be a day one purchase for me because this is something you can't miss out on. I still haven't beaten Breath of the Wild, but I'm not going to be missing out on the new Zelda experience. So check for that in May. All right, the next game. This is the last game that I have a date for of something that I'm expecting. So that game is Street Fighter 6. It comes out June 2nd, 2023. So, a great summer game. It's going to be $59.99. It's going to be multi-platform, which is cool. Because Street Fighter 5 was just on the PlayStation. So I think I'm going to be buying this on the Xbox Series X, and this will be a day one purchase for me. Street Fighter 4 is going to be up there for one of my favorite games of all time. I didn't quite hit 5. Street Fighter 5 is hard. So I'll be looking to get back into Street Fighter 6 on June 2nd, 2023. And then the last game that is slated to come out in 2023, but does not have a date yet, is Starfield, and that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. And that game is either going to be $69.99, and it's also on Game Pass day one, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's true. 99.9% sure that's true. And that's going to be an epic game. So Starfield, I guess that could be the game in the second half of the year that competes with Zelda, but it's not going to hit as broad of a market as Zelda, but it could kind of get up there with the acclaim for video game wise, just kind of like an Elden Ring. I don't know if Elden Ring could compete with Zelda, but nobody's going to have anything bad to say about Elden Ring, and Starfield has the potential to be like that. It also has the potential to be a letdown because it's just the way things go, but Starfield's setting up to be a great game, so we will see about that. It's got the TBD on there, so I'll be excited to hear when we get a date and see when that date is. This is a game that has been pushed back already. This game was supposed to come out in 2022, so I don't anticipate, we know have another date, but I don't anticipate them coming out and saying, hey, we're going to push it back to another year or whatever. So I think we'll get Starfield sometime this year, and I think you have to have an Xbox or maybe a PC will allow you to play this. So that will be a point for the Xbox, because they have had too many exclusives that are really making people want to buy a console just for that exclusive. So pretty cool. So those are the games that are coming out in 2023 that I'm tracking. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more games. We talked about some last week. Like Hades 2 is coming out. It just doesn't have a date. I think it's supposed to go into early access in March. There's the new Ken Levine game called Judas. I think that'll either be a late in the year 2023 game, or maybe it could be something in 2024. There was a few other indie games. There was one with the Grim Reaper drinking coffee, and it had something like Die or Death in the title. It looked like a roguelike. It looked like something I wanted to buy on my Switch. And I'm still looking for Sports Story this year. That's supposed to come out before the end of the year. That's just something I'm bringing up right now, just to highlight there that Sports Story, the sequel to Golf Story, has been rumored to come out in the fourth quarter, and they said December 2022. So it's just running out of time for that game to come out, and I don't know how they're going to drop it or what's going on with that game. So maybe I should look into that before next show. So this will be a good call out for myself to check into Sports Story and see if there's any update or information on what's going on with that game. All right, so plenty of games coming out next year. Plenty of ways to spend my money. Plenty of ways to spend your money. So you should subscribe to my Patreon if you'd like to support the Dep Lewis Show and support the Dep Lewis Show purchases. There's a $1 tier on there a month. It's the ground floor tier that will never change in price. And it's just a general support tier for the Dep Lewis Show and the great content that we are providing. So I appreciate any support, especially on the Patreon, or just anyone listening to the show in general. I really appreciate it. I'm just thankful that you're here listening and talking about the video games, or listening to me talk about the video games. All right, and another great place to listen to some video game talk is the Fire Escape podcast. It comes out every other week on Monday. It's Dan Reichert, Mary Kish, and Mike Mahardy, and I really enjoy it. And they did their Game of the Year stuff. It was a 4-hour stream. They actually put up a video on YouTube on Dan Reichert's YouTube channel, so go check that out if you want to watch the video. It's fun to watch those guys on the video. And it was a 4-hour long thing, and it was very interesting. And Elden Ring won their Game of the Year pretty unanimously. So that is a common theme throughout the industry. Elden Ring is being held up there as the champ. So I just wanted to bring up that Fire Escape did their Game of the Year. It was really cool. They got me to look into a few games that I put on my wish list, and you might want to check them out yourself. These are things that I haven't heard about until hearing them talk about it, so it's just something I've got on my radar. I don't have any immediate plans to buy these games, but they've just been put on my radar. So one is called Tinykin. That game actually looks multi-platform. Looks like there's a Switch version that could be cool to buy. There's a game called Signalis, Signalis. I don't remember what console that's on, but actually I do. It's on Switch and it's on PlayStation. I don't know about Xbox. It's the one I don't know. There's a game called Strange Horticulture. I think that's one you need to play on the PC. I think there was a Switch version. So, you want to double check me on these, but the game titles, at least you can check them out and see if you think they're cool. So that was Tinykin, Signalis, and Strange Horticulture. Those are things I haven't heard about before that look cool. So I wanted to bring those to you today too. And then they almost have sold me on the new Mario and Rabbids game. I can't remember the tagline or the second half of the game, but the new Mario and Rabbids game might be Sparks of Hope. They were talking about how good this is, and I think it ended up number 3 on their Game of the Year list. So I played the first game some. This is supposed to be an XCOM-like game with Mario made by Ubisoft. Mario has a gun in this game, and I think it would be something I really liked if I played, but I just got Fire Emblem on the brain right now for tactical strategy games, so I just don't know if it's the best time to pull the trigger on the Mario and Rabbids, but if you'd like to, I think it might be smart to do. I think I've seen that game on sale for $40. I saw Best Buy had a bundle where you could buy this game. I think it might have been on sale, and they were also giving you the copy of the first game, so they really do try to give away copies of that first game. It's just cheap as hell sometimes. It's like $9.99 most of the time. So pretty nice that they're giving you a combo of the games, and I hope to see more stuff like that going forward with games that have sequels. I'd love to get a copy of the prior game, like with Horizon Forbidden West. I'd love to get a copy, which they sell for dirt cheap. Just give me a copy. It's nice. Just do something nice for the people out there, especially for your older games. It's got to be nothing to them to throw me a copy of that kind of stuff. Or, when you buy the new version, give us the old game too. It'd be pretty nice, and it'll build up some pretty goodwill. Goodwill with the video game people. All right. Another video game podcast I wanted to shout out is the Nintendo Voice Chat podcast. And I just want to highlight that this has been going on. I think there's 600 episodes of this. I really just got into it in 2022, but I listen to it, almost every week, and it's one of my most favorite things I look forward to in the podcast world. They talk primarily about Nintendo stuff and Nintendo happenings, but they also talk about other games because they really like all games. And they have a pretty standard set, a pretty usual set of hosts, but they also mix in some other people. I really like the regular hosts. I like the people they mix in. I like the format. I like the length. I like the style. They're funny. It's just a really great podcast, and it's one of the highlights of my video game podcast week. So I wanted to let you know that maybe you should check them out too. So go check out Nintendo Voice Chat. Really good podcast. They do a YouTube version where you can watch the video. And I do both. Sometimes I watch the video and sometimes I listen to it. Either way, I just don't want to miss it. So go check out the NVC. All right, so that was a great midsection for this week. That's all we got for you. We talked about the PlayStation Holiday Sale. I believe that's fully going on until January 18th. But some of the sales might change on January 6th, so maybe check them out. If you see some now, you might only have till January 6th to cop them. So just keep that in mind. But there's a great sale going on, up to 75% in the biggest promotion of the year for PlayStation. We talked about my release calendar for 2023 that I'm tracking. I think I have about maybe 10 games so far that run through June 2nd, 2023. Starfield's the only one that I'm tracking that I don't have a date for yet. I think the day one purchases for me are Fire Emblem Engage, January 20th. Dead Space Remake, January 27th. Legend of Zelda, May 12th. Street Fighter 6, June 2nd, and then Starfield whenever that comes out. So I think I have 5 games right there that are definite purchases for me, 2 in January, and then 1 in May, and then 1 in June. So that's a pretty good spread on them. It makes buying the 2 games in January not seem so bad, so that's pretty cool. And then Starfield I could always subscribe to Game Pass if I was looking for a cheap option to play that game, or I could pay the $69.99 for that whenever it gets released. So should have a great year of video games coming out. And I'll definitely have a updated list. I'll be keeping an updated list, and it'll be exciting to do, and it'll be exciting to see what the second half of the year is going to look like. So we'll have to get back on that because they need to get the information to me, then I can get the information to you. That's how this thing works. And then we talked about the Fire Escape cast doing their Game of the Year, so go listen to Fire Escape for the Game of the Year. Listen to Fire Escape just regularly because it's a great podcast. It's every other week on Monday. And then I shouted out the Nintendo Voice Chat for being a great podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, and I just started listening to it in 2022, and I'm thankful for that. And I think you should go listen to it too. So that's going to wrap up the midsection of the show for episode 12. We're going to come back in just a minute for the miscellaneous talk section of the show. We are going to talk some sports. And that should be about it. So we're going to come back and talk some sports in a minute. I have a few updates there, and that's the main thing I want to wrap up this show with this week. So go take another break, whatever you need to do out there in the world. If you're maybe go plug your controller in. I'm trying to think of video game things you can do. Go change the game that you're playing. Get up and go change the disc finally if you're playing a physical copy. Go refill your drink. Go smoke something. Text someone back that you haven't answered yet. I don't know. Go pet your dog. Do something good. Put some laundry in. Ooh, that could be smart. Yeah, put some laundry in. I don't know. That's about all the suggestions I got. So hopefully hopefully those are useful, or hopefully use this time to do something else great. So we'll be back in just a minute for the last section of the show. So please come back. Don't go anywhere else. And I really appreciate it. We'll see you in just a few. Welcome back to the final section of the Dep Lewis Show, episode 12. This is the miscellaneous talk section, and today it's basically the sports talk section, but we have a little book talk here at the beginning. I haven't made any Lost Metal progress by Brandon Sanderson, which is slack on my part, because Brandon Sanderson is the best, but I just wanted to bring up that I haven't made any progress. But if you'd like to buy a book, or if you'd like to buy someone a book for Christmas, you should buy them a Brandon Sanderson book. So that's my service that I'm doing for my book reading this week. I need to get back to this book very soon. I got my Goodreads update where I read 10 books this year, so that's pretty decent. I read a few more than that last year, so I'm a little bit slacking this year on the reading, but that's just how things go. I have a friend who read over 100 books. He could possibly be listening to this right now, so shout out to him. Or he's probably actually reading a book right now, which is probably a more realistic scenario that's going on. But 100 books, pretty amazing. He just hit it last week, so he has some time to spare. And he's read a lot of good books, so most of my recommendations come from him, so they'll get filtered down to you at some point. Brandon Sanderson is the main one, actually, that he's turned me on to. So that is a service that friend has done for you. So shout out to him. All right, let's get into the sports talk this week. Let's see. The World Cup final happened since we last talked. That was Argentina versus France. It was a great final. Some say it was the best final in World Cup history. Some say it was the best World Cup in World Cup history. Some say it was the best final in sports history. So we can at least say it was a great match. Mbappe played out of his goddamn mind, and so did Messi. Messi is so good. He is so refined in his skill where he picks his spots. He's hardly ever running on the field, but when he picks the spots and he touches the ball, touches the rock, he's making great things happen, and it seems well-deserved that Messi won, even though I might have been cheering for France, but it was very fun to watch, and it's got me interested in checking out the Premier League, especially with my FIFA 2023 kick. And it looks like the Premier League starts back December 26th, so the day after Christmas. So I might need to figure out how to watch this, and you could hear the Dep Lewis Show talking some footy in the future. So we will see. Could be talking Premier League since we don't have the World Cup for another 4 years. So hopefully you saw the World Cup final, and maybe you'll be checking in some Premier League coming up December 26th like me. So we will see. All right. The official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Carolina Panthers, they lost to the Steelers last week. Darnold needed to make a few more plays. The defense couldn't get a stop or a takeaway when we needed one. DJ Moore had a nice touchdown, and that was a very nice throw from Darnold. But I think that was about all the nice I could say about that game. The Panthers got to win the next 3 to make the playoffs. So that's the Lions, the Bucs, and the Saints that are left in that order. The Bucs are their main competition in the division, so that's a really important game to win. The Lions are a very tough team, and they're rolling, so that's going to be a tough one to play. That is at home, though, so you got to protect the bank. The bank was not protected last week, so the bank has been robbed, and the bank could get robbed again this week by some people wearing lion masks, so we will see. That game is 12/24, so that's Christmas Eve. Oh, that game is Saturday. Is that right? It really is. That game might be Saturday, unless my note is wrong. So that'll be something I'll have to correct next week if I do. But check for the Panthers at 1 o'clock against the Lions. Hopefully getting a dub. But I think it's going to be an uphill battle, being realistic. I don't have the most hopes, but I always like to have a little bit of hope. So at least I still got that. All right. A team that is really testing my hope, the official NBA team of the Dep Lewis Show, is the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are changing some things in the organization to try to make it function better, I guess. The Hawks president, Schlenk, has moved to an advisory role, 12/21/22. The GM, Landry Fields, will now oversee basketball operations, and it seems like they're shopping John Collins like crazy. So, I don't know. I guess they told this guy, hey, we're moving you. New guy, Landry Fields, you have more area of responsibility now, and you need to shop John Collins and get a return. You need to shift this thing into gear and find a solution. But I don't really like the solution of trading John Collins, but if the team chemistry is that bad, then maybe you need to. There's lots of articles and things going on that are weird, kind of Trae Young articles talking about he doesn't like the coach and the coach doesn't like him, and it also says multiple teammates have problems with Trae, and this information was being leaked by rival executives, so there could be some poker kind of chess play here with that kind of stuff. They were saying they anticipate Trae could be the next big star to request a trade, and I don't know how I feel about that. I have a Trae Young jersey. I'm on the Trae Young fan club, but as time goes on, a lot of my players I like from teams are getting released or, going elsewhere, or, I could see him requesting a trade. So, I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it's likely to happen, but if it does, I hope the Hawks get a great return, but we'll see. But it just seems like some kind of posturing by other teams trying to, mess up what's going on in the kitchen with the Hawks kitchen. And the Hawks kitchen is already in disarray, so I don't know. They're still hanging in there. They're definitely still in the playoff hunt. They're just kind of mediocre right now. But they're not terrible, so that's also a positive. They've had some injuries, so that's a negative, but that's also a positive. They've been able to be sort of decent with some injuries, so there's still some things to watch here with the Hawks. Let's see. This week they played at home versus the Magic. They played the Bulls Wednesday, which was kind of a heartbreaking loss right at the end. They were going back-to-back with scores down towards the end of the game. And then the Bulls scored with no time left on the clock. It was brutal. DeMar DeRozan hit a shot that bounced in, unlike the previous play that they scored, and that seemed unfair that it bounced in. And I think it's Nurkic, just a big white guy on the Bulls, and he was pretty strong and overpowering down low and on the boards. The Hawks don't really have somebody his size, especially with Clint Capella not playing, but it was fun to watch. Trey at the end of that game, apparently he was hitting all of his threes again early on in that game. But at the end of the game, he was really forcing the issue in the paint in a good way, and he was throwing some hoops to Okongwu, and he was really scoring in the crunch time, so that was fun to see. So hopefully they are on an upward trajectory, and, I don't want them to trade Trae Young. I think that would be crazy. It was weird to see that headline, so that was just a little bit shocking, but, I don't know. I really like Trae, and I like DeJounte Murray, and I like a few of the other guys, but those are the two main ones that I'm really liking on the Hawks right now. The Hawks play the Pistons at home tomorrow night, Friday 12/23, and I think that's the last game they play before the holidays, so that's good for the Hawks. Hopefully they'll get a dub tomorrow night against the Pistons, and I think they should. And I'll just keep checking in on those Trae Young articles. It seemed like there was a good bit of those coming out. A lot of people are talking about that and speculating on what's going on there. And there has to be something there. I think there's at least something there with Trae and the coach. They try to trade John Collins every year, so I don't really know what's up with that. Maybe it really is just like a thing they don't get along, and Trae Young's obviously the star of the team, or like the franchise player. So if him and Trae aren't getting along, John Collins and Trae, then obviously that's probably a reason they're shopping him a little bit. So I don't know, but you never know. But next week I could be talking about John Collins being moved, and hopefully, if he is moved, the Hawks are getting some type of decent return. So we will see. All right. The official Major League Baseball team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Atlanta Braves. I wrote last week, is there going to be any Dansby Swanson news, ? And yes, there was. Dansby gets broken off, $177 million. Not from the Atlanta Braves, though, from the Chicago Cubs for 7 years. So I want to say thank you to Dansby Swanson. Thank you, number 7. Hope you get a good reception when you come back to Atlanta. Going to miss you playing shortstop. It said Dansby would have taken less to stay with the Braves, but so that was, I don't know. I don't think you can have any ill will towards Dansby as a Braves fan. He got the last out of the World Series. He left for a way bigger bag of money than we were offering him, and that's really it. The Braves are saying they don't want to have that many high-priced players on their team. That's not a sustainable way to run a team. And I've heard people argue that you don't want to make Dansby your highest paid player on your team. But I kind of think that Dansby could have been up there in the ballpark of Matt Olson money. Or, Dansby could have been, just close or slightly under the highest paid player. And I think that would have been fine. And it sounded like Dansby was willing to take some type of a lesser amount than that 177. So it would have been interesting to know what the number was that he wanted. And what the number was we stood firm on. But, I don't know. I don't think the Braves have the greatest option to replace him right now, which is not good. And we will see. I kind of hope the Braves make another move, and I think it needs to be a pretty good splash move. So, I don't know. But other than that, the Braves have a great young core that's locked up on reasonably priced contracts for some years, and they're really great players. And there's not too much to be angry about with the Braves, but a little bit of stuff going on. Joe Jimenez and Sean Murphy are a big addition, so hopefully they'll be drowning out some of the noise of some of these disappointments that we've been having with like the Dansby situation. But wish all the best to Dansby out there. Carlos Correa, the shortstop previously for the Twins, he had signed to make a deal with the Giants, but actually they weren't into something on his medicals, and they kept negotiating. And then during that time, the Mets and Steve Cohen jumped in, who has been spending almost $1 billion this offseason now, and they give him a bag of $350 million to Correa to go to the NL East. So Correa joins the Braves divisions up there with the stinking Mets. Nobody likes the Mets. Dep Lewis Show is not a fan of the Mets. The Mets can suck an egg. I'm still more scared of the Phillies than the Mets, but it's safe to say the Mets are trying some things out there. So the NL East is going to be very fun to watch next year, and I expect the Braves to win it still. And when I was thinking about the NL East, it just reminded me of Jazz Chisholm Jr., and I was thinking that he needs to become a Brave, and if that could happen somehow, I'd be happy. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I just wanted to throw that out there in the universe again, so possibly I could be talking about that on a later Dep Lewis Show podcast. And with that thought, the Jazz Chisholm Jr. thought, we're going to end the podcast for the week. I hope you really enjoyed this show. I enjoyed bringing this show to you again on a night episode on a Thursday night before Christmas. Christmas is going to be Sunday, December 25th, so I wish you a Merry Christmas, a Merry Christmas Eve. We're going to be back next week. We're going to do the Game of the Year for 2022 for the Dep Lewis Show. That's going to be the last show. I think it'll be the last show of the year. It might be the first show of the new year, so we will see. That's going to be episode 13 next week. I really appreciate you listening to this show. We're going to end the miscellaneous section where we talked about the World Cup final. We talked about the Carolina Panthers. They're playing the Lions this week, so hopefully we'll be talking about a win next week. The Atlanta Hawks have a game at home versus the Pistons tomorrow night, so hopefully they'll win that and have some positive stories in the news about Trae Young over the course of the week. And the Atlanta Braves. Hopefully we'll have a splash move there where the Atlanta Braves do something great. But I kind of expect nothing to happen there, being honest, so we will see. But this has been another great episode of the Dep Lewis Show. Shout out to all the great video games of the world. I hope you're buying some video games. Spend some of that money you got saved up on some games, because there's some great sales going on. And you got to strike while the iron is hot. Strike while the video game iron is hot. And go check out those stores. Put some stuff on a wish list. And, just ball out. It's time to ball out. It's Christmas. So, happy holidays. Hope you're having a great time out there. And I'll talk to you next week. And this was another episode of the Dep Lewis Show. And we'll be back next week for episode 13.